Hey Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we go over a variety of going-ons in the Pokemon hobby. That's right, it's another, well, here's the thing. I don't even know what these are called anymore because I guess you could call them news updates, but I've always called them Poke-chats because that's really what they are. They're just, me chiming in on random things that have gone on in the hobby. But nowadays it seems like more and more stuff is a Poke-chat, so I guess we're going to start calling these news updates. If you have an idea for what this particular series should be called, feel free to let me know that down below in the comments. But in today's video, we have tons of different really interesting stories that I have found from, over the past couple of weeks. I figured let's save it all up and then just do it all in one video. So a couple of things that I'm not going to show on screen right now that I do want to sort of, chirp out. PSA stopped their grading services. They've put everything on hiatus and they're planning a tiered return. I'll do a separate video, honestly, in a little bit where I kind of put my thoughts together around that, but I'm actually impressed. For once, it seems like PSA is taking the mature business decision, stopping their intake and really focusing on two things: developing and expanding. So whether it be developing and training their people or developing better response times, and then also expanding because they've indicated they're going to be, purchasing new space in the United States where they're going to have additional outflows go from. So instead of just submitting to PSA in California, you'll now be able to, send cards elsewhere, which I think is going to be amazing for the hobby in the future. And I think it's going to make graded cards far more accessible. But I don't necessarily think it's going to have an immediate adverse effect on price. But that is a separate topic in and of itself. Let's get into the topics for today's video. So here is the Wine Club. I really have to invest in ad blocker, I think. All right, well, speaking of which, here was that first topic that I just spoke about, which is that PSA has, decided to halt all services. They have like one service still open, and I think it's like, one of those like weird, wacky things. But other than that, they're just kind of jammed up. Like they're just not letting anyone go ahead and submit, which again, I think is good. We'll do a more specific PSA website review where we'll kind of go over all this stuff. As some of you know, I'm not really a fan of these third-party articles when it comes to this stuff because realistically, all they ever do is, get a generic quote from someone and then go ahead and tell us about the most recent eBay sale, which, typically doesn't really impress me for what it's worth. So that's that. Now, on to some more beneficial news. The TCG just announced Sword and Shield Chilling Reign. So Chilling Reign, or the Japanese equivalent of it, Matchless Fighters, was actually announced before Battle Styles even came out. If you don't know, the way that Japan works is typically Japan will have multiple smaller sets that then get squished together and put into a larger English release. So for example, Battle Styles was actually two sets, Rapid Strike and Single Strike, and then those two were released, and then in the English expansion we got it as one set, Battle Styles, about 150 plus cards. Same concept with Chilling Reign. What's interesting about Chilling Reign is that Matchless Fighters was announced before the English set was released. That is something that very rarely happens, if ever. And so it was actually kind of shocking for a lot of people like myself who kind of follow that news, because what we realized is it kind of breaks the precedent that they set about, typically they will announce the next Japanese set after the release of the previous English set. And so it was kind of weird because it seems like they're just pumping out sets right now, and it's probably equally parts of the 25th anniversary as well as just kind of building back hype up from the global health pandemic and the way that the supply chains were impacted. So I have a feeling it's a combination of those two things that kind of dictate. In terms of Chilling Reign, one little fun fact for you right off the bat, there are 5 pack arts. So you're getting the 3 Galarian birds as well as the big poofy man whose name I'll learn sooner or later, probably not. But this is interesting because the last time we had 5 pack arts was actually Sun and Moon base set. So this is pretty dope for very obvious reasons, because it's very rare that you see 5 pack arts per set, which is, I think really cool. The other thing to note is that obviously over 190 new cards. You got Calyrex, that's Poofy Man's name. You got the VMAX. Obviously, this set is also going to contain the 3 alternate art bird cards, as well as the alternate art Blaziken, and most importantly of all for me, the full art Karen trainer card, because I am a huge fan of Karen, and yeah, I'm just super excited to get a chance to pull her, as well as get a couple of cards graded. So I'm excited because I think it's going to be really dope. Now, the cards are coming out in June, so interestingly enough, we will have some time to wait, but it is super dope. The other thing is that there is a gold Snorlax in the set, so this is going to be a highly sought after set for a variety of reasons. People are already basically frothing at the mouth over the alternate art bird cards. I don't think Karen is like that widely acknowledged as like a waifu card. She's not a Skyla, put it that way, even though they come from the same generation. But I do think the gold Snorlax, as well as the alternate art cards, will definitely draw a lot of attention to this set, which means if Pokemon doesn't really ramp up their production of this set, we may be in a situation similar to that of things like Vivid Voltage or other sets that kind of suffered from low production runs. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we go forward. Speaking of Pokemon shortages, let's talk about Target. So I saw this article from Dextero, or whatever they call it, where they basically say is taking drastic measures to stop Pokemon card scalpers, and they go ahead and say that they're coming up with a variety of new wacky things. And of course, like many of these articles, they'll quote some, hot topic, like how, apparently the Pokemon adults were taking the Happy Meals from kids because they're all monsters. Realistically, was that the full truth? Not really. It was obviously just that, people were pressed for the cards. So there's that. Definitely something to consider there. But for the particulars of the Target strategy, there's a couple different strategies they've been using. So as you can see in the video, or rather on screen right now, they have been limiting the quantity of cards. So if security sees you with more than 3, they make you actually go and return it, which is actually pretty funny. The other thing is that, TikTok user Pokegummy posted up another video saying that instead of having a trading card section, they're going to sell all this stuff at the customer service window, and it's going to be sold starting at Fridays at 8 a.m. This, strangely enough, has given rise to a completely new and really strange thing happening, where people are camping outside of Targets and Walmarts at opening. Basically, some people have even said as early as 3 a.m. And so what they're doing is they're effectively just letting it rock. They'll go, they'll camp, and then they'll get cards, which to me is really stressful, but also just doesn't make any sense because it's really not that deep. But some people are so pressed to get the cards that they are willing to kind of go the extra mile and go and hang out in front of Target or in front of Walmart and get cards. So that is definitely something. I personally think this is one of the most toxic and worst things that could possibly have happened. Here's why. A couple of reasons. One, Fridays at 8 a.m., kids have to go to school, and guess what? Pokemon cards are, shockingly, for kids, so I don't know who is going to be lining up at Friday at 8 a.m., and then even if you argue, okay, like Ryan, you're an adult, you obviously like Pokemon, yeah, sure, fine. Guess what I do at Fridays at 8 a.m.? I work, as do millions of other Americans and people across the world, so I don't understand what Target's logic here is. The only people they are playing to are those weirdos who live in their mom's basement and go to Target and buy this stuff and then scalp it out of the basement. And so it really is just my opinion, but I can't see a situation where this particular type of, sale method really kind of helps anyone. Again, most people are working. Kids should be in school or will be getting ready for school at this time. And really, it's just people who don't work who probably have the time to get in line and wait at Targets. Again, I think they could have done this better, but I guess whatever helps kind of like cut down on the amount of things that people get is also going to help. The one thing I will say is that, in the past, a scalper could pull up, could grab the cards, and could dip with literally everything at MSRP. But if they're limiting it to 2 per person per party, then in theory, it doesn't make sense because you have to wake up early on a Friday and you're only going to get 2. So unless you're hitting like 15 different targets, you're probably not going to get the same amount of product as you used to. And therefore, hopefully, what this will do is really kind of curb the appeal of scalping to a lot of people. And really, that's been the point. The idea is that if the stores can control the scalpers and Pokemon can get more product out there, the combination will effectively reduce the viability of scalping as either a side job or as like a full-time thing or like a way to make cash. So, it really is just those 2 things that kind of add up to the Pokemon hobby recovering and more availability on store shelves as well as online. Next up is Japanese man scales building to steal Pokemon cards. So this was first reported on Vice Media, and I mean, really, you can't make this stuff up. So an IT worker from Tokyo used rope to scale down a 6-story building to steal trading cards worth US $9,120 as well as $2,370 in cash. He was hoping to pay off some debt. So I guess this story kind of goes in line with the story that I was speaking about, I believe earlier in March, when another store was robbed of quite a bit of merchandise. Obviously, that was over here in the States, but this is now over on the other side of the world in Japan. But it's still fascinating, and apparently there's video of this guy using rope to scale down the side of the building like Fast and Furious gem heist movie style. So that's actually pretty funny. I don't know if Japanese law enforcement is going to release the tapes, but I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious. The funniest thing of all is that it really wasn't that much. It was about $11,000, which admittedly is a lot of money, but we've obviously seen and know of products out there that are worth so much more. So it's just kind of ironic because I guess it goes to like beg the question of like, should you rob a money truck? There's always been a debate out there. It's kind of like one of those mental experiments. But basically the argument is that you really wouldn't want to commit that crime anyway, since those trucks don't usually carry a lot of cash like that, and the risk isn't necessarily worth the reward. And I think this holds true here. Obviously, this guy was caught, but he risked all of that for like $12,000, and I mean, he got caught at the end of the day, so he didn't even get away with it on top of that. Now, finally but not least for today's conversation is this really cool story about the Pokemon card artwork backgrounds. So this is a story that a user on Twitter actually put together. So this is Fanamel on Twitter. All credit goes to them. I will link this particular article down below so that you can go and heart this as well as retweet this as well as show some support to the original content creator. I'm just here showing you what it is. So basically, he or she takes the Pokemon card, right? This is the Ponyta out of base set. And they were able to find the images in the background. So obviously this Pokemon is superimposed on that background, but what they were able to do is actually show you the image that sort of makes up the background, which is pretty dope. So as you can see right there, you can kind of see it. Same thing with the Scyther, right? It actually turns out it's just a bunch of trees, and then it's actually like a slice of the trees just kind of blurred out, and there it is. So you can actually really get a good idea of some of the backgrounds. Here's the Wartortle from base set, right? Same concept. There's Beach. It's kind of like just blurred out a little bit. The colors are edited, and yeah, they really just kind of superimpose the Pokemon image onto some of these really cool backgrounds. I actually like stories like this, and the main reason I like things like this is mainly because I find it really cool. when we have stories like this. It's really nice to kind of see the history behind Pokemon cards. Too often, I feel like we're more fixated on price or value or anything like that, but sometimes it's really cool just to kind of take a look at the artwork that goes into some of the stuff, I personally feel like this is a really cool story, right? No one would have known that piece of art, which I'm sure it is what is the background for the Mew promo from way back in the WotC days, right? But this Twitter user was able to, using whatever methods, find out where the artwork originally came from and kind of show us a little bit of the history of the Pokemon cards, which I think at the end of the day is super, super dope. But with that said, friends, thanks again for checking out another video. Hope you are having an amazing Tuesday. And if there's a particular article that you thought was really interesting today, feel free to let me know that down below in the comments. Today was one of those days where there's like so many little things going on that it kind of boils up to effectively one main video. I gotta say, I am so excited about Chilling Reign, it's not even funny. I know I went hard for Battle Styles because, as you saw this past weekend, I opened up an entire case. By the way, go check that video out if you haven't, because you'd be surprised how much value was actually in that case. And more importantly, let me know if you guys want to see another type of video like that, but with booster, with ETB cases. So that could be another option available to us. We could open up 10 ETBs and I can let you know what the results of opening those were. But like I said, if I went that hard for Battle Styles, I'm going equally, if not maybe triple as hard for Chilling Reign. I love this set. I need all the Karens. And I mean, if I get like 5 Articunos and 5 Moltres, I think that'd be pretty dope too. But other than that, friends, I think I'm going to stop talking now. I hope you all are having an amazing day. Thanks as always to my subscribers. If you aren't already, feel free to join the Gengar Gang by hitting that big old button down below. We are closing in on the 1,000 subscriber mark, so any help to get us along, if you'd like to join the gang and hang out with us, it's more than welcome. I always say you could have been anywhere on the internet, but you chose to spend some time with me, and that as well is very appreciated. Other than that, friends, thanks again for checking out another video, and we will talk soon. Peace!